All right, so as a bonus, I'm going to add a pop-up down here that's going to create the curve that you want. So you can select the curve type for your graph editor, because for me personally, when I'm animating, it's quite annoying to have to go back into the graph editor just to adjust what the Morph Mixer has done, because even when I set it to linear, for example, it always changes back to TCB spline. So it would be nice to have something here to be able to change the curve type. So let me move these over a little bit before we continue. So I'll put this one at 300 and this other one at 350. So let's see if that's better. Okay, that looks so much better. And then here I can put the curve. So I'll need to be able to access this outside this particular function. So I'm going to name it as curve pop-up. So I'll name it that, CTL pop-up. And let's give it a label. So this one is going to be curve type. And then the default value will be the first item. And then we'll need to make some choices. So I'll make a variable called choices. So let me add some items, because here it's supposed to be an array of items that will be showing on the pop-up. So what will be the choices? I'm going to have several of these. So the first one, obviously, let me put linear, because that's the one I like to be at the top. So I don't know how many of these there are. Actually, let me check here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need 5 of these. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5. So the fifth one is stepped, and this one is TCB spline, and then we have one that's Hermite spline, or Bezier spline. Bezier spline, something like that. So these are the choices over here. Okay, now CTL pop-up here, let's put it at the top so that we can access it from anywhere. So I'll put it anywhere here, and then let me go down here and let's put a position for this item right here. So it will be quite close to the position of these guys, so I've just copied that, and then I'll get the curve pop-up and put it there. So we need to reduce this, let me say 150 maybe, and then the Y will remain as it is. So let's see how that will make it look. So let me remove this, and there we go. So it's overlapping there. So instead, let me remove that, put it at 50. Let's see what that does. Okay, there we go. So we have the curve type, we have these. Let me move this a bit further as well. Let me try 320. And there we go. So this looks much more reasonable now. So this will be the spline that we use. So where we're using this is where we are creating the key. So where are we creating the key? So let me search for create key. Where is that? Right here. So in this function called something changed, here we are creating a key. So I want us to be able to set the key to this key that we've created right here. Okay, so I will say it's pretty much almost the same here. There's just a little bit of a difference. So first of all, the thing we need to do before we can actually set the key is to look at the value, because what happens here is that this pop-up doesn't give us the value of the name or the text from here. It just tells us what the index is of the selected item. So if I select linear, I'm going to get a value of 1. If I select stepped, I'm going to get a value of 5. So we need somehow to convert that into something, the actual data, the actual spline. So anywhere here I can create a function just here to do that for me. So I'm going to call it get curve, get curve type. Okay, so here I'm going to get a value and then convert that into a curve type. So I'm going to say the first one will be TCB spline. It's going to be linear, I guess. Actually, what I would do to simplify my work here is I'm going to put linear just before the second last, like that, because that's normally where it comes in. Okay, so let me go back here just to make my life easier. Let me go down here to the curve type. So I actually already put a function together that can do this. So there it is. So here what we're doing simply is saying if value is equal to TCB spline, this value I get there, or value is equal to actually this one is going to be 1, and this one is 2, this one is 3, this one is 4, and this one is 5. So if it's going to be this text or that number, then return this one. So this is the constant that we can use there as the key curve type. All right. Okay, so once we've done that, then we can use this to set the key curve. Okay, so let's go up here, right there, and then we're going to say set key curve instead of create key. We're going to say set key curve, and then we set the key type here. So let me do this. I'm going to say key type is equal to the pop-up that we created where is that? What did I name it? Let me go up here and figure it out. I've forgotten. Oh, curve pop-up. So let me type that, curve pop-up. So that's the pop-up dot value. So the value that will be returned is the number. So we'll use our function get key type, get curve type here, and give it that number. Okay, so that number, if it's equal to 1, then we'll return that, which is pretty good. And then also I want the default value instead of being 1 to be 3, because I've moved the linear 1 2 3 4 actually to be 4, because that's the one I want. So that will be the default value. Okay, so the time is the same, set key curve, and that's the time, and then the key type. So I should put key type at the end here, not value, but key type. Okay, if everything has worked well, this should do the trick. So let me go back here and let's see. And this is not the default I was looking for. Oh, Bezier is at number 4. Why has this not changed? So let's go back here and see. Oh, that's because I changed the position and not the okay, so what I should have done here is let me simply move this back here and swap these two. I'll put, actually I need to put this one on number 1, number 2, number 3, otherwise we'll get confused. Number 4 and number 4 and number 5. So let me move this back here. All right, so that's the better order. Okay, so now let's see an incoming curve become linear. So let's see that, and there we go. So you see it's linear. If I go to the stepped, for example, the incoming curve here will be stepped, as you can see from there. Pretty awesome. If I go to spline and move there, it's going to be a spline. All right, so very, very powerful stuff right there. So I hope you learned something useful throughout this very long series of tutorials, because the idea was not about finishing quickly, but giving you information on how to do multiple different things to achieve what you want. All right, so hope to see you in another series of tutorials.